In this recording in our series of creating geometries, we'll be talking about creating geometries using the option of point to point and arc by points. We'll start by point to point. Point to point means exactly what it says, picking one point and just going to another point, and it will create a chain going from one point to another. It doesn't make a difference where I pick it. I can pick it on the surface. We'll start there. I can pick wherever I want. It'll create a geometry. And this has nothing to do with any edge I may have picked. So basically, I can pick anywhere on the part to create my geometry, a point. What I cannot do is pick on a blank area. There always must be some kind of surface below the point in order to continue or start to create that geometry. So how do I get a surface underneath the part if I want to just pick a plain point outside of that? Well, actually pretty simple. Let me go out of creating my geometry for a moment, and I'm going to go back into my coordinate system, because when you create a coordinate system, and I'll go into edit of my first coordinate system, there's an option that we did not see before that's at the very top called Create Planar Surface at the lower level. In other words, for that particular coordinate system, I can create a surface that I can use for such matters, just like as I mentioned now, going from point to point. I'll accept that. Now, where do I actually see that surface? If I go into my CAD tree, and we have design model and we have our CAM, you'll see we also have what we call surface Mach 1 position 1. If I were to right click on that, I can unsuppress that. And now you'll see that we have a surface underneath. So if I go back now to create a geometry, I'll go into profile for this instance, click on start a new geometry, go to point. Now I can create a geometry just by clicking from one point to the next. And you see, I'm not clicking on the part itself, I'm just clicking on the surface. So for whatever reason I may want to be able to create a geometry on this area, all I have to do is just get that surface. Now let's talk about the option of arc by points. There are some times in creating an arc, I may see an arc over here. However, the problem is sometimes if this is an imported part, this arc may be made up of many points. So by clicking on it, you won't get an arc, you'll just get a specific point. But what we do know is that mathematically, any arc that you have will always have 3 points. In other words, if you pick 3 points, there will always be one specific arc going through it. So let's take a look at how we can do this. I'm going to start by arc by point, and you'll note at the very bottom it says pick start point. So I'll pick a start point, this corner over here. Next it says pick next point. I'll pick it anywhere on that arc. And now it's telling me to pick the third point. I can pick wherever I want also, and you'll note that between those 3 points, we have an arc. And that's what pick arc by points means. In our next recording, we'll go through some of the settings that we have inside geometries that are used for creating geometries.